What new technologies are on their way to the Disney parks? Let's discuss. Welcome to Princess and Scoundrel, where we take you along from Fantasyland to Tatooine and everything in between. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Steven.
And before we get into today's topic, we need to discuss a big halcyon-sized elephant in the room here. On Valentine's Day, Star Wars announced that there is a new book coming out about Han and Leia's wedding, and it is called The Princess and the Scoundrel, which is a great title, by the way.
It is.
But it's going to cover not only their wedding, but their honeymoon, which coincidentally takes place aboard the Galactic Star Cruiser, or the Halcyon. So we're looking forward to that. We're definitely going to read it, cover it on the podcast. It's kind of the perfect topic for us to discuss.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting because we kind of knew that there was going to try to be some story connections through the normal canon.
Right.
And I think this kind of took people by surprise that we were going to see Han and Leia be a part of it.
Well,
I did see some kind of people upset because now they feel they have to be a participant in the Halcyon, or that there's just Disney trying to sell the Halcyon. And I think it's partly them trying to sell it, but also to canonize this ship.
Yes. Right? I mean, it's not like you can go to Endor right now.
Yeah.
This is an actual place in Star Wars canon that you can go to, and that's the first of its kind. I mean, there's Batuu also.
Yeah.
Why not be excited that you can go see Star Wars in real life?
I'm excited.
I'm excited for it too. So the book comes out in August. We will be covering that when it does come out. We're going to have to read books. Just kidding.
You'll read it.
I'll read it and I'll tell you.
I'll listen to the audiobook of it.
That'd be fun. I may do that too. We'll see. But let's talk about today's topic. Technology in the Disney parks. There's a lot going on. Yeah. There is, right now at the Disney parks, there's some things that you can experience from a technology standpoint. The biggest one of those being Magic Band. So to explain what Magic Band is, if you're not a park goer, it's an RFID bracelet. I have one here, one of my favorites. It is an RFID bracelet. There's a little puck on here that has the RFID in it, and you can use it for many things on your trip. You can use it to unlock your hotel room. You can use it as your park ticket. You can use it to, if you're staying at a Disney resort, charge food, merchandise to your room. You can use it to get your PhotoPass pictures from either PhotoPass photographers or ride photos. And then sometimes they track where you are in the park. So some rides will even pop up a little screen that has your name on it. So there's a ton of things that you can do. It's been around for a while. It came out in 2013.
Well, this is the second iteration of Magic Bands, right? Because initially there was another one where they kind of first implemented it and started integrating it into the park and in those manners or whatever.
Right. It's evolved since then. But this is what we currently have in the parks right now. They did announce that there's going to be Magic Band Plus. So it's all the things that you can do with the current Magic Band and more, plus more. So there's haptic vibration. There are color changing lights, and it also has gesture recognition. So I'm assuming that means something kind of.
And so I have more on that.
Oh, okay.
Later.
You're going to talk about it later. Okay. We won't talk about that. So the haptic vibration and the lights. So they've already said a few things that you're going to be able to do with Magic Band Plus around the park, which is all of the 50th anniversary statues that they have out and about. You'll be able to interact with them in some way. So maybe they'll vibrate or they'll light up when you're nearby. They've said that there's going to be a bounty hunter element. You get to act like a bounty hunter around Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
And then when you're watching the fireworks like Harmonious or Enchantment, it's going to interact with the show as well. So it's kind of like going to a concert and you had a lighter, or nowadays you have a cell phone. I think it's going to be similar to that if you're wearing Magic Band Plus.
Okay.
So there's new things that are going on.
When is that supposed to come out?
Great question. We don't know. We don't know exactly. They have hinted very heavily that it's going to be coming out with Star Cruiser, which is very imminent.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's when we're going to see it launch. I'm assuming March 1st. They did send out a survey recently to some park guests and say, hey, what do you think of this? Would you use it? Do you like these features? How much would you pay? It seems like it's coming very, very soon. My best guess would be March 1st.
That's when the first...
maybe what they do is they start it with Star Cruiser, kind of test it out a little bit, and then it rolls out to the rest of, general public after that.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll see when exactly it comes out, but it is coming out soon. I'm excited for it. I love Magic Bands.
Well, I think it was interesting because I initially read that the Magic Bands were not really well received at the very beginning. People were kind of like,
oh, really?
Yeah, that the bands in general, people were like, it's something I have to keep up with. And there was already these other, here's a ticket and here's how to, and again, when it was first implemented, it wasn't as nice as it is now, where, you can only do certain things. And I think that's kind of going into the Magic Mobile, the phone, right?
Yes. So they've taken Magic Bands, which are a physical band, and it's been a slow rollout, but they announced Magic Mobile, which is essentially the same thing, but on your Apple devices. So it's only for Apple iPhone and Apple Watch at the moment. I think they'll roll it out to Android eventually, but the reason for that is that you can add it to your wallet on your phone, and then you just scan it the same way you would scan a Magic Band, but you just scan your phone or you scan your watch, like at the park turnstiles. Yeah. Oh, the other thing it does is it used to be Fast Pass, but now Lightning Lane. Like that's how you get access to that lane, is with either your Magic Band or your Magic Mobile.
And see, kind of going back to the initial iteration of Magic Band, Magic Mobile, I wasn't much of a fan of it because I didn't see a point. I was like, well, I already have my band.
But that's if you have your band. For people that haven't been to the parks before, well, a few things. So Magic Bands used to be included if you were a Disney Resort guest. Yeah. They're not anymore. Now before it was like you got the basic colors, like I've got like a basic red one. You could get these for free when you went and stayed at a Disney resort. And if you wanted to upgrade to like a patterned one like this one, you paid less. You got it at a discount. Now, whatever Magic Band you want to get is at a discount for Disney guests. They no longer offer complimentary ones. Magic Mobile's free because it's on your phone. It's part of the app, so it's included. So I think that's the benefit of it, is if you don't want to spend extra on a Magic Band that you're only going to wear at the parks. Like if you're only going for one trip, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're not going to be staying at the parks and you're not getting one, then it would be beneficial. But I remember you would have to log into it wouldn't open on your wallet automatically. So you had to actually go into the Disney Parks app to use it.
Yeah.
You can't pay with it.
You can now.
Initially,
last time we tried, we couldn't.
And then the watches weren't initially connected to it.
Right.
And if it was, you had to open it up as if it was
like a credit card.
Like a credit card or something.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like as, nice where you just scan the band and keep moving on.
Right. Because I think that's the idea, right? Is that it's easy enough that if you wear an Apple Watch, you just like bing and you go, instead of having to wear a watch on one side and your Magic Band on the other. Because some people even pop out that little puck and they'll make like little accessories to put on their watch.
Yeah.
So this was kind of combining the two without having to do all of that work.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they came out with Magic Band Plus, is because they're like, but wait, it vibrates. There's lights. There's things you can do with it. And so I think they're trying to add more benefits and more value to a physical band.
So do you think they're not sold on the mobile? They're just providing the mobile part because they know everybody has a phone and they're going to go for that option?
I think so. I think it was probably an easy win to roll it out on mobile and have that be a free option while pushing Magic Band Plus, which is very likely going to cost more than what Magic Bands cost nowadays, which is around like $15 to typically $25. If you get like the limited edition ones, they can climb higher than that. But I think Magic Band Plus is going to have a higher starting point, price point. And so in order to say, okay, if you really don't want to spend, say, $35 on a bracelet you're going to wear in the parks, there is a free option for you.
Yeah.
But check out this cool bracelet.
No, I think it's going to add a lot of interactivity with that watch or that band.
Yeah.
So
I think it will. So that's something that's coming very, very soon. We don't know exactly when, but we've been told it's coming out early 2022.
Yeah.
What's next for the parks?
Well, one thing that you kind of failed to talk about was the animatronics. That's a big Disney
That's
technology.
real big.
Disney tech. I know we're excited about Magic Band because we're thinking about the soon, like kind of present, what's coming out.
Right.
But the animatronics, have been just like crazy advanced now.
It's incredible.
I think it's A1000 or something like that.
Something like that.
The most recent one, like Hondo, I think he's one of the most recent ones.
Hondo, and then the priestess lady in Na'vi River Journey in Animal Kingdom.
But they're doing that, and then I think they are shifting over from some of the projection faces to kind of the Belle face over in France.
Oh, okay.
So because how Belle that ride, the Beauty and the Beast ride, it's full animatronic, not animatronic with a projection face, which is like the Frozen ride.
Like the Frozen Ever After ride.
So I think they're going more towards like, hey, if we're going to go animatronic, let's keep it all animatronic. Right.
I think that's the Beauty and the Beast ride in Tokyo.
Oh, Tokyo, okay.
Yeah, I believe it's the Tokyo park.
You might be right. But yeah, there's that, and then the Stuntronic.
Yes.
Looking at that.
Yeah.
People have seen it, and it's amazing to see, but that's like an amazing feat to have just a animatronic to be just flung in the air.
So the Stuntronic is Spider-Man in Avengers Campus.
Yeah. We have not been to Disneyland. I have to admit, we have not been to Disneyland yet.
You're exposing us.
And that's like one of the things I'm excited. Like Avengers Campus is to just go see it and see Spider-Man get thrown in the air.
Well, it's cute the way they do it too, because they have like
a story to it.
They have an actor up there pretending to be, or he is Spider-Man. Yeah. He's not an actor. That is Spider-Man up there, and hold on, I'll swing right over, and then he just like leaps, and that's the Stuntronic that's going, but it looks like a person.
And then they have the new one. Remember, there's little Groot.
Oh yeah, that walks around.
Where it'll be like fully, Boston Dynamics style, walking around
And then, did you see that one? It was kind of like a mech suit at D23, Destination D23, where it kind of looked like maybe like Sully or big characters. Yeah. Maybe Wreck-It Ralph.
So those look more like armatures.
Yeah, not necessarily technology.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still there's still technology to it to be able to like
super cool
articulate fingers from a person's fingers to these, big fingers. But, I mean, they're probably going to have, facial connection to it.
Maybe we can show it. But do you remember the pictures of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs premiere and the Seven Dwarfs?
How scary they look!
How scary they are! Just imagine.
We've come such a long way.
So far
from those pictures.
From that to having these essential mechs that you can control their fingers with your fingers in real time. Yeah, it's incredible.
That's incredible.
Look at us.
But yeah, so there's that, and then one of the other things that I was like looking into is the drone shows.
Oh yeah.
And we'll probably have like I'll put like a little video, because Disney it was on the Disney Plus Day last year, I think it was, and they had like a show over at Disneyland, and it was cool. It was cool to see, like, it was it felt like almost like a controlled fireworks show.
Right.
They had Disney Plus, Baby Yoda or Grogu, and
Excuse you.
they had and then there was like
Right.
the advertising, who was Hulu, and then Disney Plus and all that, like all that's the advertising part of it. But it's I love drones. Seeing them be able to coordinate and all that. I think there was a Captain America shield, which it was interesting. They showed it. They kind of introduced it over at Disneyland because Disney World, remember, Magic Kingdom has that
There's a no-fly zone.
So I remember that being how are they going to implement it? If they are they going to do it, like at Hollywood Studios? Then it got me thinking about, there was an X-Wing at one time that flew over Disneyland, like when
Galaxy's Edge opened.
Yeah, Galaxy's Edge opened.
Was it Disneyland or Hollywood Studios? It was Disneyland because that opened first.
Yeah. So I was like, why can't we have an X-Wing fly over the parks?
Or the dragon that flew over Fantasyland.
That was long time
ago. And we still don't have things
like
because
that.
they're not flying. It looks like it's flying over your head, but it's not flying over your head. Like if that thing fell out of the sky, no one's going to get hurt. But they can trick the eye into making it seem like, oh my God, an X-Wing just flew over me. I would love to see something like that in the parks. And drones, I think, are a really good way to do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's with I kind of think of Epcot, the new Epcot.
Harmonious?
No, Spaceship Earth. The way the
the lights
LEDs
that they added to it.
That is kind of the same concept with those drones, because you're giving them positions to basically make these images or 3D.
Right, it's like synchronized lights that like roll up over Spaceship Earth, and it looks like the globe spinning and all these really cool things. They could do it.
Oh yeah, they absolutely can. I think
but they could do it with Harmonious too.
Trying to perfect it, I think.
Yeah, because Harmonious is all over the lagoon. Although if those drones go down, that's it for those drones. Yeah. Maybe that's a bad idea.
Yeah, have some water shoot up and malfunction them.
Whoops. Okay, that was a terrible idea. I take that back.
But no. Then it got me thinking about kind of future technologies, and so with Star Cruiser, we got the retractable lightsaber.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. And we were able to find out how that retractable lightsaber worked with a patent, right?
Yep.
So it got me thinking, maybe I should check to see what patents Disney has.
Oh, okay.
And so I started reading patents, and there's a lot to digest there.
How fun was that?
It was a page turner for sure. But it's nice to look at pictures. So they have some text, and they have a picture of what, kind of the idea they have behind it.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring some to the table. We could discuss it if you have questions of what I recall from it. But I think these are patents that could be implemented sooner than later.
Okay.
So this one was, the title of it is Gameplay System with Play Augmented by Merchandise, which it comes to what I think they're going to be using the Magic Band Plus for.
So the Magic Band Plus being the merchandise.
Yes.
And then some kind of gameplay triggered by or using that Magic Band Plus.
Yes. And this is where they talk specifically about gestures, using the light. It's detecting light patterns from the device to tell it to do something, and you'll have powers. So then it kind of reminded me of the Sorcerer's game, the card game.
Oh, yeah, Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom.
Yes. And so we did notice that the Sorcerer's Magic Kingdom game was no longer. Yeah, and I don't know if that was intentional because they had this in mind, or if they decided not to do it for other reasons. But
that's interesting because, Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom game, it was just a card game. You went and picked up free cards, and then it was only in Magic Kingdom, and there were different lands that you could play in, and you essentially go...
Well, it was like different storylines. Like you started in different parts of the land, and it took you through the park, but you started in different points. So,
well, it kept you in one land. right? It was like 5 or 6
yeah.
touch points in one land. So you could play in Frontierland one time and in Fantasyland the next time. But you would go and scan your magic band, and it was like a scavenger hunt, because we would walk past them before and not realize it was a game. And you go tap your magic band, a screen would pop up behind like a shop window, and there's like a little game, and you use your cards. But you did have to tap your magic band. So those tap styles are already there. Mm-hmm. So now you don't even need the cards.
Yeah. And I think
it's more of a pay to play. So it seems very likely
it's integrating the Magic Band Plus.
Right, because you have to buy the Magic Band
Plus
to use it. So now it's, that seems very likely. But what are you going to do? What kind of gesture are you going to do?
Well, then it got me thinking that it's kind of similar to the Universal, the Magic Wands over Harry Potter, where, you give it gestures and it does something. Because it specifically says that it gives the user different abilities or powers. Like in the patent, it says that. So I'm thinking that's what they're kind of implying, is it's going to be something where you're doing something. And it could be, I'm thinking Magic Kingdom, but it could be Star Wars.
That's what I was thinking.
The Force users, or, something like that.
Because also in Galaxy's Edge, we didn't even talk about this, you can use your phone or your data pad to do things in Galaxy's Edge, like trigger noises to happen, or I forget all the things that you could trigger, but you could trigger things in Galaxy's Edge on your phone. I wonder if they'll have something similar to the Magic Band Plus.
Yeah. And again, the gestures, it's not unheard of, because if you remember, there was the Sphero BB-8, and initially it was through your phone, like a normal controller, up, down, left, right type of thing.
Yeah.
But they later on, like on the tail end of it, they had that watch where you were able to like stop him, make him go forward.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So, using gestures to call, kind of give it signals is not unheard of. So, I think this is a very telling.
Yeah.
And it goes through, and we'll probably have like, if you want to go look at it yourself and read through it. But I thought it was pretty interesting because, we were thinking about Magic Band Plus, and here's something that how it could be actually implemented into the parks now.
That has to be what it is, because when we were talking about Magic Band Plus earlier, you do like a bounty hunter type game in Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. That has to be what it is.
So
that's soon.
Yeah. And so the next one, kind of speaking on the bounty hunter.
Ooh, okay.
One of their patents is called, let me see if I could pull it up, Systems and Methods to Provide Artificial Intelligence Experience.
Come again?
Yeah. So
dumb that down for me, please.
So this one was basically entailing, they referenced Pokemon Go and the recalling of players. So kind of like how the bounty hunter, or the bounty,
the data pad
right now, where you could get points and then go back and, I'm the bounty portion of the data pad,
right?
Because you could set a trap or do, where it skims.
Oh yeah, it would skim credits and stuff.
And you go back and you could get those credits. And so one of the images they have, it has, I'll pull it up so you guys could see, but it has like what looks like kind of like a trash can or something.
I thought it looked like a Dalek.
It kind of looks like a Dalek. And, a user, and then a user comes back like a minute later.
Yeah.
But he has like Jedi garb on.
He looks like a ninja. Why does he have a sword?
But it recalls the player. So I think there's going to be a lot of basically touch points that will remember the player coming back. So again.
So if you are doing a bounty hunt and you return.
Exactly. And then they talk about the AI. So it's going to be more the story driven, where if you're going to one point, it's not just you hit a point and you're just reading a story, but like you come back and it'll remember that you already came here.
Right. And it says like, no, this is not where you need to be. You need to go.
Something. It could be stuff like that.
What if this is on Star Cruiser? What if this is part of the story on Batuu?
And that was when I was looking for things that kind of, looked interesting. How would they be implemented in
Like
something
now.
like Star Cruiser, something now?
Yeah.
And I mean, you could go through just like a ton of things, and there's different types of technologies. I'm looking specifically at like park things, but they do like there's movie stuff, screen stuff, and like they're streaming. They talk about more of the technology, like deep technology of how to make sure that timing is correct and all that, which you start really seeing that Disney is pumping out like these ideas of like, or they're patenting all these ideas.
Yeah.
And so talking about screens, I pulled up this other one, and let me see what it's called.
You went down a little rabbit hole
I
on
did.
these
Yeah,
patents, didn't you?
I started going, and it just like I got lost in them.
When do you take the bar?
So this one is gaze-based rendering for audience engagement. And the picture that they have up as an example is some people sitting in front of a screen with images of animals. Okay. And as I read through it, what it is basically kind of eye detection and your face, like not face detection, but like where you're looking. It'll bring that character into focus, but also multiple people looking at an image, and it'll give focus to each of the viewers.
Is it an individual gaze-based focus system? So if I'm looking at the elephant and you're looking at that rubber chicken, what is that? Is that a rubber chicken?
I don't know. Some
kind
kind
of big bird?
It looks like a giraffe with arms. I'm not sure.
But if you're looking at one and I'm looking at the other, is it going to put it in focus for each of us?
So I think where it's not going to necessarily put it in focus is it'll give your character the attention to you. So
like
that's
a
where
little wink or something.
That's where I was going, I was going down that rabbit hole. I was going down the rabbit hole.
God.
So it kind of initially talks about it bringing the one camera detector looking at the first person that looks at the screen. So that audience member gets the attention, and it'll bring whatever they're looking at basically into focus. And so if you're looking at, the elephant will be in focus. And then they talk about having multiple audience members, and a second detection will see that someone else is looking at something else. And I don't know if they mean it to be where it's two different views in focus, or if it's changing the image where it's basically focusing the giraffe is focusing on you, because it talks about it changing the image.
Not like the literal focus of like it's in focus or it's soft.
Yeah.
It's like, is the giraffe looking at you?
Yeah.
Or is it looking at the guy 3 seats over from
Yes.
you? Okay, I gotcha.
So that's where it kind of like
It's
you
not
have
clear.
to kind of it's not clearly said. And then there's a reference to the Mona Lisa effect, where she's focusing on. She looks like she's looking at you when you walk past her, type of thing.
So how are they tracking your eyes? Are you going to be wearing like essentially like 3D glasses?
No, I mean there's
just cameras everywhere.
Yeah, well you could have, and yeah, they have a picture of this is what one of those cameras are. There would be multiple cameras around. Disney has tons of cameras.
Always watching.
But they have eye trackers for personal computers now. I've seen streamers, have eye tracker challenges where when you're looking at things, it's watching everything you're doing.
Well, for like disability sake or purposes too.
Exactly.
Like
yeah.
they'll have that where they have a keyboard and whatever word the person's looking at, it'll speak it, right?
Yeah. So they talk about different. There's not just eye. It's eye. I think there's like a face. Like,
so if you're like, whoa.
If you're facing in a direction, I think glasses. They reference a couple different ones, like different ways of how it determines you're looking at something. So they talk about that in 2D and in 3D spaces.
Huh.
So I don't know how it made me think of, I think the Spider-Man ride has kind of a 3D space to it where you're moving around within the that realm. So maybe they're gonna have something like that where you're watching something and interacting with it in some way. Wow. And maybe there's multiple characters and one character's, focusing on one person, and then the other characters, like each character has its own focus, right?
Right.
So
that's just wild to think how much goes into an attraction right now at a Disney park, and then to add on top of that, like individualization to each guest and where they're looking.
Yeah. Well, then
you could go ride a ride and you could experience two different things sitting next to each other.
So then it got me thinking, how are these?
I love this. So then it got me thinking,
can they be connected? Because we talked about the patent right before, where it'll remember you. Like, imagine having this is, they're talking about more 2D space or 3D space, like images, like displays, but having that same kind of focus technology on like an animatronic, where it's not just moving, its own actions, but it sees somebody, come through the ride, maybe even remember that it's you.
Name. Because so we mentioned this earlier on the magic bands. Like, if you're going through Rock and Roller Coaster and you first enter the building, there's posters on either side, like in the little atrium, and it may look like a concert poster, and it'll have your name on it.
Yeah.
Or like Expedition Everest does the same thing, where it's got posters.
I think that was the first time we saw it. We were like,
what? It was amazing. Could you imagine Hondo saying like, "Welcome back, Steven.
Yeah.
Ready for more coaxium?" And then you're just like...
And he's actually focusing on me.
On
he's
you.
Not just like animatronic moving around.
That really seems like a logical step to pushing technology forward.
But is that too scary?
It's terrifying. When you're talking about the eye gazing, our gaze track, oh my God, it's terrifying, but also unavoidable in a way. Like, we are surrounded by technology that is constantly learning and listening to us and what we like. It's in our homes, it's in our bedrooms, it's everywhere. Why not get some enjoyment out of all this data gathering that they're getting on us and talk to Hondo?
Yeah, I mean,
or talk to like Olaf on the Frozen ride.
Well, see, I don't even think I want to talk to some droids, right? Oh. Being able to talk to R2 or
But what's he gonna say? He's gonna be like bleep bloop,
and
you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, he said my name."
I will learn how to speak droid. So
how crazy is that? You will learn to speak droid. You better. You're a droid builder. How can you take care of them? You can't even understand them.
But so one of the last ones, again, I'm looking around, and this one looked like a fun one, and it was basically they patented a fabric to, and let me see the name of it so I get it right.
A fabric.
A robotic devices with safety retention suits for reducing ballistic risks. So basically, the fabric that's on the animatronics is a different weave, so that way they could, protect them from
gunshots.
Well, it's ballistic. It says ballistic, but it could be for other things, other damage, like Spider-Man being flung around.
Okay, I'm with you now. Or like, what if an animatronic like gets shot at? Not by, I was thinking like a park goer, but like there's a show element, right?
Yeah.
And they get blasted back.
It's not gonna just rip. So it's kind of like Edna Mode, ballistic.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine if that's how it's used and they open back up Metropolis over there?
But it's just crazy that is like a technology that they are
a fabric. They patented a fabric.
Well, I don't know if it's a fabric, but it's a weave, and it's a to protect these animatronics.
Is it specifically calling out animatronics?
Well, it's robotic devices, and then if you look at the
I wonder if you see that on Star Cruiser.
Well,
maybe. My God, what if it's like lightsaber?
Well, it could be
chopping in half.
The blaster, animatronics taking blaster shots. So
it could be. What if all this research that you did, and it's like, in the future, and it's like 2 weeks from now. Everything comes out.
I mean, it's
you heard it here first.
It's very possible, but I think that's kind of the caveat with like patents. You don't know when they're going to be implemented and how, if they ever are.
Yeah, because sometimes you just have a really good idea. Like my whole idea last episode of being able to like feel when Kylo Ren is coming on the magic band. It may, like, I thought it was a great idea. I could just go, if I was Disney, go patent it, and then maybe just never use it and be like,
they probably already have that. But yeah, that's kind of like the first one where it was like, it'll know that, you know, it's a game, it's using it part of a game. So
right.
Yeah, I kind of went down that rabbit hole when I started looking. I was looking for something specific, I think, and then just kind of got lost. So there's a ton out there. So
do you know how many patents Disney has? It has to be.
There's a ton. There's so much.
Tens of thousands, more than that.
Yeah, more than that.
Oof.
Because there's, like I said, there's a lot of stuff on different their projections and audio and video connections and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things.
So you didn't even get into all of it. You just got into the ones that you thought
I'm
were
just like
cool.
Dipping my toe into it and just what caught my eye, like reading the title of it.
Am I going to catch you like staying up late at night, just like staring at your phone, reading patents? Like, what's next?
But I mean, it was cool. It was cool just like, you know, seeing what Disney's thinking of and then trying to connect the dots of like how they're going to implement it.
Right. Hopefully they do come to fruition, because if they don't, and we like got all excited, we're like, this is how it's going to be for Star Cruiser and for Galaxy's Edge, and then it never happens.
And it could have that same effect where you're like, oh man, they could have done this.
Right.
How come they didn't implement this?
Like that's what happens when you peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. You're like, oh man, there's so much technology that you didn't use.
It'll be cool. Whatever they do with this, what they've already done with technology in the parks is incredible. So whatever they do with these
ideas,
crazy patents that your eye tracking patents, it'll be good, I'm sure.
So,
but that, I think, you got any more patents for us?
No.
Oh, okay.
No more.
So I think that brings us to this episode's spotlight section, which this episode we are highlighting our sister station on the Thank the Maker Network, which is Armor Party Podcast. It is hosted by our good buddy Mike Forrester, and he interviews people that are really into Star Wars costuming, and sometimes even people that have created iconic Star Wars characters that you may have had nightmares about. He will talk to 501st, to cosplayers. Recently, he interviewed Brian Muir, who molded the helmet for Darth Vader. It was an absolutely incredible interview. I highly recommend you check it out. You can find Armor Party anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Princess and Scoundrel is part of the Thank the Maker Network. So if you're looking for an interesting take on Star Wars, go listen to Adam, Ryan, and Nick over at Thank the Maker. And as Sarah mentioned, go check out Mike over on Armor Party. And you can find new episodes of Princess and Scoundrel anywhere you listen to podcasts or watch us on YouTube.
The support that you've shown for our podcast so far is so incredible to us. Thank you so much for that. If you want a lot more Galactic Star Cruiser content, it is coming next. So please make sure that you're either following or subscribing so that you can catch it all when it comes out. Until next time.